Can you say hi? Oh my gosh. He came over here because he's scared of the lights, and then he got stuck over here because he's silly and he can't figure out how to get out. So here you go. Well, now he's laying right in front of me on the bed, so he will be joining us for this video. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Haley and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited because I have a really fun pan that palette update. I've been working on panning my Glamlite Mikayla palette since the beginning of this year, and I think we've been making some pretty darn good progress. We do have one new pan, so that's super exciting, and it's a fun color. So I feel like I had a lot of fun really dipping into some of these ultra colorful shades over the past month, and I feel like I've been making good progress. So if you want to see all the good juicy progress that I've made on this palette, keep on watching. So this is what the palette was looking like at the very beginning of the project in January, and you can see the progress that we made last month as well as what the palette is looking like now, and I'm super proud of this. So we have one new pan in Simping right here, this fun really bright neon pink shade. We've also really expanded some pans in the shades that already had pan, so currently we have 5 pans, which I think is pretty good. We also have some pretty nice little dips here, which I feel like are going to turn into pans very soon. I've really been enjoying working through this palette. So each month I've made it my goal to use each shade at least once, as well as have one focus shade to focus my energy on. So this past month it was Simping right here, which I did hit pan on, which is awesome. And then after I hit pan on Simping, I started working on Portage. We don't have pan there yet, but hopefully we will soon. And I've really been enjoying just going through my whole collection and picking out all the palettes with shades that I think would go with my focus shade. So it's a fun way to just rotate through the rest of my collection as well and dip into some other palettes and keep inspired and, you know, just keep on staying motivated to create fun looks. My ultimate goal is to have pan in every shade. I don't know how likely that is because some of these shades, the mattes here, are very firmly pressed and quite difficult to hit pan on. I don't have pan on any mattes yet, but I think if I could hit pan on all of the shimmers, that would be pretty good. I actually even think some of these shimmers with a big pan I could maybe even use up. So we'll see. It is March, so we are like a quarter of the way through the year already, which is absolutely insane. Is that even right? 3, 6, 9, 12. Yes, I can't do math, but we're gonna go into detail on each of the shades in this palette. So first up, we have Harley, this shade in the upper left-hand corner. It has a really nice dip in it, and I used it 6 times over the course of the last month for a total of 18 times in this project. I really think I can potentially hit pan in this soon-ish. I would really like to have at least one matte pan in this palette. That would be great, and I'd really like to focus on this one over the next few months because I think it would pair really well with a red lip. Just do a kind of like simple neutral eye and a red lip because I have a red lip liner in my regular project pan that I really need to get more use out of, and I feel like because I'm doing so many fun eye looks, I'm not leaning towards a bold lip. So maybe if I focus on this shade, I can try and get there with the lip liner, but we do, like I said, we do have a really nice little dip here, and I'm really hoping to hit pan on this shade soon. Then next up we have How You Doin'. It's a shade that I frequently pair with Harley. This is a sort of darker toned brown. Used this one 4 times over the last month for a total of 8 times in this project. Not much disturbance here, so this one may be in it for the long haul with this one, but we shall see. Then next up we have Gemini here, which is a much warmer sort of reddish shade, and we've used that one 2 times this last month for a total of 6 times in this project. There is some disturbance here, but again, not much movement on these mattes. They're definitely much harder to hit pan on than the shimmers in this palette. Then next up we have this gold shimmer, What's Poppin'. It has quite a large pan in it already, and I already had pan in it when I brought this palette into this project, so we've just been expanding that one every month, and I only used this one time this past month for a total of 2 times in this project, yet still we are expanding the pan. So I feel like once I do hit pan on some of these, it's really easy to expand the pan, but sometimes just getting there, especially with the mats, is a challenge. But these pans are so shallow that it is pretty easy to expand once I do hit pan. So we're just gonna keep working on that one little by little and see where we get. Then next up, we have another really warm brown shade. This is Hot Cocoa. So this shade I used one time this last month for a total of 4 times here. Again, not much movement here. And moving on to the last shade in the top row, this is Willow, a nice like sort of outer corner deepening up shade. Used this one 2 times over the last month for a total of 6 times in this project. Then moving on to the second row, we have this really pretty sort of apricot shimmer shade right here, Glow Up. And I've really been enjoying this one as a one shadow all over the lid look. It's so pretty, and I actually got a really nice compliment on this one a couple of days ago when I wore it. Reached for this one 4 times over the course of the past month for a total of 6 times in this project. And I am noticing a dip here. I really think this is one that I could hit pan within the next couple of updates. So happy about that. And like I said, I think it's a really fun, easy shade to reach for when I'm super lazy and just want to do a one shadow look. So really enjoying that shade. And then next to it, we have Simba. Not much movement on this shade. Only used it 1 time last month for a total of 3 times in this project. Then next to it, we have Accent. This is the first pan that we hit in this project, and I used it 1 additional time last month for a total of 9 times since the beginning of the project. And this is a very fun, easy to use, again, similar to Glow Up, just a little more bronzy, but very pretty and easy to reach for that shade as well. Next to that, we have a super bright, almost neon orange called Buffalo Chicken, which is honestly a perfect shade name. I honestly am obsessed with that shade name. I think it's hilarious, but I reached for this 1 time last month for a total of 3 times in this project. It's kind of a tough shade to reach for because it comes on the eyes a lot more neon than it looks in the pan. Like in the pan, it sort of looks like a fun Halloween pumpkin shade, but on the eye, I feel like it is so bright. So I will keep on experimenting with that one. It's a fun one, but a little tough to pull off at times, even for somebody who loves brights like I do. Then over here, we have a Manifest, which is a fun silvery purple shade. I think this is a really pretty, and we are starting to have a little bit of a dip here. You can kind of see it reflected right there. And I used this shade 2 times this last month for a total of 3 times in the project. I know this one will be pretty easy to reach for once I do decide to focus on it, so I'm not worried about this one at all. I think it's a very pretty cool toned purple shade. Then next to it, another shade with a fun little dip and disturbance in it. This is Cookie. I've used this one 2 times over the course of the last month for a total of 5 times in this project. I would like to focus on this one also soon. And like I said, we do have a little bit of a dip in that corner right there, so I feel good about that. Definitely use this one not all over the eye, but as an outer corner shade. So on top of my sort of outer corner deepening up shade, I will pat on some of this shimmer right here. It's a little bit too dark for me to use all over the lid, but I do think it can bring some really nice dimension to a neutral look, so I enjoy it for that. And then another bright neon shade, but one that I was actually able to get a lot of use on this past month. This is Iconic. I used this one 5 times for a total of 8 times in the project. There's some disturbance here, but nothing like a dip or anything like that, but I was able to get a lot of use on it, pairing it with Simping right next to it, which I did hit pan on this past month, which is super awesome and exciting. I am so stoked to have done that, and it was so fun to rotate through all of my pink and red eyeshadows to do some really fun sort of month of love themed looks, and really enjoyed that shadow. So I used this one 5 times to hit pan, then an additional 3 times, so a total of 8 times over the past month for 16 times in this project. So I feel like 16 times is around the amount of times that these shimmers need to hit pan. So we'll see with some of the other ones, but I was also not really using this one all over the eye, but more like in the inner corner and like inner third. So we'll see if that pattern holds true. Definitely for the shimmers, probably not with the mattes in this palette, but it'll be interesting to see kind of what the average time to hit pan is. Next to this, we have Immaculate. Only reached for this one 1 time over the course of the past month for a total of 4 times in this project, but I do think this shade is super pretty, and I actually enjoy it paired with Simping. It is a really pretty very reflective purple, and I like that one a lot. MJ right next to it, we are seeing some sort of disturbance in the surface of this, but no dip or anything yet. I used this one 4 times over the course of the last month for a total of 9 times in this project, which is pretty good. Definitely was pairing it with Portage right here, which I used a ton this past month. Then New Beige right here, I only used 1 time for a total of 2 times in this project. There are so many purples in this palette that I kind of feel like they're always all competing with each other, but I do like all of them. They are fairly similar though, so we will get around to New Beige once I hit pan and some of the other purples, I think. So moving on to NARS right here, we already had pan in this shade when I brought it into the project, and I used it 3 times over the course of last month for 5 times in this project, and we are expanding the pan a little bit. Already I just had a very small pan to begin with, so working on that one, but I do really like this shade. It is a very fun sort of lavender based sort of lavender periwinkle shimmer. I think it's really fun cool tone shade for the kind of winter and spring months. Then moving down to the best color, or as I joked last time, the worst color, because this is not a color that I am normally drawn to, but I'm giving it my all, and I am, well, not my all, I'm doing my best to at least get 1 use per month on this shade, and that is the best color. I used this 1 time this past month for a grand total of 2 times in this project, 1 time per month. It'll probably be like 12 times at the end of the year, let's be honest here, but I do want to challenge myself to at least reach for this, even if it's not my absolute favorite shade. Right next to it, we have Bonehead, which is also a tough shade for me to use, but because it's a shimmer, we do see a little bit of disruptance right here, which is awesome. And I used it 1 time this past month for a total of 4 times. I feel like I've actually been able to pair it with Stunnin' right here as sort of a dimension adding outer corner shade a little bit. And Stunnin' just has an absolutely stunning sized pan, which is awesome. I freaking love this shade. I love these like brat green tones. I've said it so many times on my channel here, but use this one time this past month for a total of 4 times. I'm almost kind of like stopping myself from using it more because I know I could run through this shade, but I love it and I want to be able to at least use it later in the year as well and not fully pan it before I'm emotionally ready. If you know, you know, but I just really, really love this color. It is absolutely beautiful and beautiful on the eyes as well. Super reflective and pretty. Then next to it, we have a Portage. I was working on this a lot after I hit pan on Simping. Again, pulled out a ton of purple eyeshadows to try and find things to pair them with in other palettes, as well as pairing them with a lot of these shades up here. So MJ was a big one, but I used this one 8 times over this course of the past month for a total of 10 times in this project, which is really awesome. And I think I will be close to hitting pan soon. I really think just a couple more uses and we will be there. It's a really, really pretty shade and I have been enjoying it. I love using this one on the outer 2/3 of the eye and then a lighter, more reflective purple on the inner third. I think it is such a pretty look and really, really have enjoyed this shade. Honestly, a lot more than I thought I would have. Which is why I love doing stuff like this, because it kind of pushes me a little bit out of my comfort zone, and have really, really been enjoying this shade. Then next to it, we have Pot 2 right here. This shade I only reached for 1 time. Again, so many purples here that they are all kind of competing with each other for a total of 2 times in this project, but I'm sure we will get more uses on this, you know, over the next few months. Then Rhodey right here. I love this color. I think this is so pretty. It actually has a little bit of a baby dip in it. You can kind of see it when I move it around, but I used this one 2 times last month for a total of 5 times in this project. I think this is a super pretty shade. I've actually been pairing it with this shade NARS right here quite a few times, and I feel like it does a really pretty, I don't know, I felt like those shades, even though they are next to each other, so maybe it's obvious, I kind of felt like they didn't really go that well together, but then pairing them with kind of like a baby blue shimmer on most of the lid and then kind of like blending those 3 shades together has just been so pretty, and I've really, really been enjoying that for like a spring, early summer, just like sky blue, beautiful, the sun is out look. Really, really been enjoying that color combo. And then last row here, another shade that's been really tough for me is Audrey right here. This is not what I'm naturally drawn towards, but I have been pairing it, well, in the one time I wore it this past month, for a total of 2 times in this project, have paired it with Rhody and NARS and been doing that kind of like sky blue look. So I have enjoyed that, and that is one way to use it. So I think I'm gonna try and use it more that way, but it is a tough shade for me for sure. Same with Freetown right next to it, which is kind of just like a matte version of that. Again, used this one time last month for a total of 3 times in this project. But yeah, not my best, but at least I'm putting in, you know, the effort on this one. You know, I'm just not naturally drawn to these super dark blue, sort of tealy blue shades, but we're doing our best. And then down here we have Loop, which is a shade that I used 2 times for a total of 5 times in this project. Love the shade. Same as Stunnin', but I honestly have probably used them together every single time I've used one or the other. And you can see we have barely a disturbance on Loop, and Stunnin' has a huge pan on it. So that's just the way this palette is gonna go, but we are gonna keep working on this one. And then we have Handy right here. Not much movement on this, but I used it 1 time this month and 1 time last month for a total of 2 times. And then down here we have Frisky. So I used this one again 1 time for a total of 4 times. Not much movement or disturbance there at all. And then lastly, right here in the bottom corner, I have Masshole, which I used 1 time for a total of 4 times in this project. So that's all the usage that I have for this month. I actually think that's pretty good. I feel like we're on track to hit a pan in 1 new shimmer every single month. That's kind of been the pattern so far. And then hopefully build up some dips with my 1 use goal on all the other shades. But we'll see where we get with this. I feel like it is actually a huge endeavor. You know, I knew it was because this palette is so darn large, but the more I work on it, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna hit pan in every shade at this rate, just given how many months there are in a year. But we'll see. Hopefully I can kind of get ahead on some shades the further we get. But I do want to stick to my 1 use goal on each of these, just because I don't want to get overwhelmed or burnt out on this one. I know I could probably set a higher usage goal, but this palette just has so many dang shades in it that I feel like that might not be realistic for me. But for now, we're just gonna keep doing that 1 usage goal and then a focus shade. So I think my focus shade will be to continue to try hitting pan on Portagee right there. I think that will be very, very possible. And then after that, I'm still not sure, maybe Cookie. I feel like that's definitely a possibility, but I also want to kind of give some love to the harder shades so I'm not stuck with them all at the end. So maybe Bonehead as well. Cookie, Bonehead, and like I said before, I want to pair Harley with the red lip at least a couple of times this next month. So that is my Pan That Palette update. Let me know how you think I'm doing it down in the comments below. Do you think I can hit more than 1 pan this next month? I really, really hope so. I think it'd be really fun to have a month where we're hitting 2 pans instead of just my usual 1. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.